I guess I'd throw this out to all of you, um, especially those of you responsible for the costumes. Um, how did you get, I mean, the look and know the colors? I mean, we think of that period as black and white. I mean, this is in the research you have to do, and I have to think the clothing from the period. How do you know how Nucky dresses?
It is true that most of the research documents that we had to look at, photos and film, were black and white, so we couldn't actually see the color of the clothing. But we do, there is enough of it that still exists that we were able to at least see what the popular colors were, what the combinations. They used very interesting combinations of colors that are uncommon today.
I give them thousands of photos in the beginning, and Doug and these guys with a magnifying glass, they would look at it, crowds on the boardwalk that would give them an indication of what people were wearing at the time, and Doug asked me for photos of underneath the boardwalk, which were very tough to find, so I would find people on the beach, and then he would kind of magnify what was underneath there with, the supports and everything, and just reconstruct everything.
Well, you also
details.
gave us some articles which were really helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the articles really laying out, because you couldn't tell how wide the planking was or this and that, and those were great.
I think we know, most of us know Martin Scorsese's reputation, who directed the pilot, and is one of the executive producers of the show. I mean, Doug, how demanding was he in terms of really bringing that set to life, that boardwalk to life?
He's a daunting figure in personality, just because
he's Martin
you
Scorsese.
You don't know what you're dealing with. He was wonderful, I must say. I mean, he from the initial sort of meeting about the models and the development, he was involved in the conceptualization of the set, and really gave us feedback that was very helpful. But he definitely, Martin Scorsese and gangsters. That's you don't have anybody that's more of an expert than that. So.
I think people often wonder when they're at that point in their lives thinking about getting into this business, how do you get there? How do you do it? It's not just like becoming an accountant or an engineer, where it's kind of a linear path. Maybe, Lisa?
I have a BFA in filmmaking. I was, writing, wanted to direct and make indie films, and I actually went in a production direction for a while, and I was even associate producing and doing independent films, and I just was miserable. And I wanted to I wanted to do costumes, and I always feel like you should always listen to your inner voice. Everybody's born with a certain penchant, I believe, to do something,
Sure.
and you shouldn't ignore that voice. And I said, you know what, I think I have a knack for this. So I went with the knack.
It's just interesting because Atlantic City was definitely a place where people went to reinvent themselves. I mean, it was a boom town. It was, it was right after World War I, and it just like exploded. And if you wanted to go and become somebody new, that was the place to go to. It was really sort of like, Las Vegas on steroids. And it was like,
it was set up to have the common man come down and be king for a day.